Okay, we are here, and you are there, and we are everywhere. Hello, everybody. I hope you
No,
can see us, hear us. I just about had that problem I had before because I forgot that the power went down uh, in here, and good thing I did a test, or we would have had no
is
sound.
it coming through the right microphone?
Yes, it is. Yes, don't be looking at the other side. Don't worry about those other ones. Okay, just to put Walter at rest, can everybody hear us? Let us know. You should be able to. He doesn't understand how this works. Hi, Jeannie. Okay, so let us see. Who have we got? Diane is here. Diana's here. Janice is here. And Kathy got a peach cake in the oven. Sounds good. What time will be over? Cheryl's here. Francis is here. Stephanie's here. Sue is here. Barb, Kathy, Donna, Glenna, Teresa, the other Teresa. Janet Lloyd is here. Jeannie, Derek, and yeah, Stephanie says that you can hear us. That's good. Diana Miller from Texas, 105. Sucks to be you. Inez, Anna, Bombo, um, Kathy, and have I missed anybody? I think. Oh,
No,
Melena. Yeah, hope I'm saying your name right.
no.
Melena. I always have trouble with that. Nellie's here. Em is here. Hi, Em. So I'm sure a few other people may be joining us shortly with all of this. So I get the feeling everybody can see and hear us okay. So that's all working out fine. That's good. So let's start with Walter today. And what's Walter been working on? He's been
Well,
working on
yesterday
forever.
I was trying to finish this shirt, which I haven't done yet. But I've got it. I put the collar on yesterday, so I just have to hem the sleeves and put the buttons on it, which usually doesn't take me that long. But
Well,
so
hold it up so I see it. And it's my shirt, by the way. So there it is. I will look very nice in that, even if the collar is upside
yeah, I
down.
didn't
The
realize the
kitties
collar's upside down.
had to point that out because, if it was me, he'd
I
be pointing
probably
it out.
shouldn't have said that.
No, you probably shouldn't have, but you did. So, put it like,
Okay, if you put the collar straight up, it's not upside down.
well, no one's going to notice it.
Yeah.
You said this one's too. It's the same way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Kitties can be upside down. That is fine.
Problem with you using directional fabric.
Yeah, well. And
Anyway,
he's
that's
got
the way it
another
is.
one. After he gets
So
that one done, he's got another one to make me
yeah,
a
so I
fabric
gotta.
for.
Steve wants me to make a shirt out of this. I don't know. I don't really like the color of it.
I do. You're not wearing it. You're just making it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. You're my tailor. It's pussies, blue pussies. I think it's nice. Actually, I didn't know that fabric existed, but Jan, one of our
I've been more
regulars,
careful where I cut the collar right.
yeah, she pointed it out to me, and I thought, yes, I had to have it. So yeah, another shirt. Yay! Soon getting time for you to start making long sleeve shirts. I only have
Yeah.
one long sleeve shirt.
Yeah, I know.
I know they take you longer. They're more involved.
Well, the cuffs are a pain in the butt on the arms.
Let's see who else has just come in. Alexandra has come in. Kathy, I think, because I don't think I said hello to Kathy before. Kathy Darlow, maybe I did. And Brenda's here. Okay. So that's what Walter's been working on. I'll just quickly go over what I have been working on. So you can take a look.
Same old thing.
Same old thing, but it's done. It's completely done. And I am damn proud of this. You have seen it in other things, but it's my Tom T. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I really like it. It was worth cutting all those like 700 plus 2.5-inch squares in it all. But I really like it. I think it worked out well. I've got a little freestanding lace snowflake. I put on the ball of his hat. I got the hiccups again. I always get the hiccups when I start this. But anyways, that is done. And I've already had somebody who thinks they should have it, and that's the owner of Ultimate Sewing, because she saw it. I posted it on Facebook, and she's in love with gnomes as well. And yeah, not happening. And I'm making some progress on my cat scratch quilt here, the one by Art East. You can see the big kitty at the bottom. He's not done yet. That's why he's in pieces, because there's another panel that has to go on him, which has his claws scratching down the side of a wall. And I think there's two of those I have to make. I think there's another one of him as well. These do take a while. Lot of little pieces involved in all of this. But anyways, things are coming along. Let's start thinking about things I want to make for Christmas as well. So let's see. Anybody come in while we're talking about that? Oh, Inez says, how come you get all the shirts, Stephen? Because I'm special. Yeah, and I deserve them. Next question.
Actually, I'm not really tired of making shirts. It's just that I find other things to do, and I have to be motivated.
Yeah, that's the starting.
I don't mind making them.
No, I like them, but you see, I like shirts, a little brighter in colors. Walter likes, more subdued kind of things with it. But I figure you get to a certain age where you need to stand out.
Yeah, so they don't hit you when you're rolling across the road.
Yes, right. So the cars can see when the old guy's crossing the road. Hello, Patsy. Hello, Tamela. And Philippa. Hello, Philippa. And Pam, hello. Barb says, just put on a sweater, Steve. Walter's tired of making you shirts. No, he's not. He just told you that. Let's see. Who else haven't I? Did I say hello to Pamela Nesler? There's a lot of Pams, too. Popular names. I'll see. Oh, and it says, my son would love the gnome quilt. Well, you need to make them one. They're not hard to make. They just take a while to cut all the little squares, but the rest of it's very straightforward. And the instructions are very, very clear. So, yeah, make them one. Patsy says she loves the gnome quilt and the cat scratch one, too. Yeah, they're fun. And Ed says you do a wonderful job, Walter. Yep. Had lots of practice. My closet's full of his shirts. Yep. Del Marie is here from Northern California. And Philippa says, what size is the kitty quilt going to be? They look quite big. No idea. I'd have to get the pattern, and it's not in easy.
I thought you said it was a fairly substantial
Well, it
size.
is. It is fairly substantial. It's I thought the way it looks on the packaging. Well, let me grab the package. It's right here. Just let me see. It looks like it's going to be more the size of a wall hanging when you see the picture on here. But there are two sizes in this. There is one smaller, and it's a 40 by 40. It's a square, and I think it's the one that's meant to be more of a wall hanging. The one I'm making actually measures according to the pattern, 55.5 inches by 62. So that's a good size throw when it's done. So yeah, it is a good size quilt. And the instructions are very good that are in here. It's just there's a lot of little pieces. There is a lot of cutting. And this morning I started working on the scratch parts, and I realized, like, along the way, one of the things I like about John from Art East, his patterns, is that with each block or part of a block, he tells you what the finished size should be, so you can make sure you're keeping things the way they're supposed to be. Well, the piece this morning said it was supposed to be 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches that I was working on, and I measured it and went, wait, what have I done wrong? Because this is not coming out to that size. It's smaller substantially by about 1/2 inch. Yeah, that's because one of the main parts in that little block I cut too short and didn't realize it. And it's not hard to do that, to get the measurements mixed up, because there's a lot. Like, for example, here's the cutting chart for the one that I was talking about, the cat scratch one. So you can see it here. That's the cutting chart on the side that's got the cat showing the scratching. So there's a lot of, it's the other hand, this one. There's a lot of little pieces. and they're very close to the same size. Like you're cutting strips that are 1.5 inches, and then you're cutting those into 1.5 inch squares, 1 inch, 2 inch, 1 3/4 inches. There's a lot of 1 1/4 and 1 3/4 inches as well. So you're talking itty bitty little pieces for all of this. But as I said, his instructions are very, very clear. So if you've never done an Art East quilt pattern before, don't be intimidated by it. Just be patient with it, because it's going to take you a while. Let's see, what are people saying here? Lucy's here. Yeah, applique with lots of blocks, those take you a long time too, because I've done an applique one as well. And luckily it was a block of the month kind of a thing. So I had time between each month kind of a thing to keep caught up, because otherwise I think I might have given it up. Yes, Cheryl, you can, and I did use my AccuQuilt dies with those pieces. They're just squares. A lot of them are just squares. So yeah, I was able to use my AccuQuilt for them. Although I'm finding that wasn't really that big of a help, because you're cutting very long strips. And the problem with the AccuQuilt, I love the AccuQuilt, but when you cut strips, they often put, you might be cutting 2, 3, even 4 strips, just depending on the size of them, with your AccuQuilt die. Well, you may not need that many. Well, then you've got to pre-cut your fabric if you don't want to waste any. And if it's a narrower strip, it's going to go over onto the next line. So sometimes it's just easier. In fact, for this pattern, I found it just easier to use my Stripology ruler for that kind of thing. So yeah. For the Tom T though, I definitely used the AccuQuilt for it, because they were just 2.5-inch squares, and I have a die for that. And so that made short work of that. But it still took me about 2 hours to cut out all the pieces, but a lot faster than if I had to cut it by, making long strips, then subcutting the strips into squares. Faith is here. Hi, Faith. Stupid question. Over Walter's left shoulder, I'm always noticing that there are 3 things that go around all the time. What are they? Those 3 things that are going around are 3D prints. They are actually, I'll grab one. This is a Buddha Indiana Jones, made with my 3D printer in marble effect filament. And yeah, they just sit there for decorations. It's just fun. And I bought these little rotating discs. They run off of solar power, but they have a backup battery as well. And I bought these from a place called Lee Valley, which is a Canadian company. And I think they were like $10 a piece. I just thought they were fun. I originally bought them because I thought I might use them in some of my videos when I want to put something I've bought on display. But you can't put anything on them that's too heavy, because they don't have enough strength in their motor to keep them rotating if you put something like a brick on it.
And they pretty much keep rotating all the time, don't they?
Yeah, I don't shut them off. No. And because they have like a solar power, like they'll run off a light, just light from the room. So I think I've replaced a battery in a couple of them once. And I've had them now for, probably a couple of years.
Yeah. Hi, Colleen.
Oh, Colleen's here. Hi, Colleen. So, not a stupid question, Faith. Thanks for asking. I'm getting out of this shot here.
That's okay.
Closer to you. Yeah, bite me. Anyways, so what's next on the agenda? So we've showed you what we've been making and everything. So some upcoming events as usual. So with Stephanie and Steven is Wednesday starting at 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, and basically it runs all day because that's the way it's been going. And all are welcome, no matter what you're working on or what kind of thing you're working on, and join us. If you've got an hour or two to kill, or you want to be there all day, whatever, you don't have to come at 9 o'clock in the morning, and come anytime you want to come in. Link for that is in the show notes. And I am announcing today that yes, I have decided there will be a pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, August the 5th. Link for it is in the show notes. It's a Zoom. It is not a YouTube Live for anybody that's never been to one before. It's not recorded or anything. And again, it's very much like Sewing with Stephanie and Steven. You just bring whatever you want to work on, and away we go. So that's this coming Saturday. Link is in the show notes. And for those of you on the mailing list, sometime late tomorrow, you will be getting your own personalized invitation to join us with the link in that email directly to your inbox. So that's what's coming up there. Update on the Quilt of Valor situation. If you've been following my continuing saga about this, you know I made that Quilt of Valor quilt, and my intent was I thought I would donate it to Quilts of Valor since I bought the kit at the Halifax Quilt Show. It came from the Quilt of Valor vendor's booth, all that kind of stuff. Finished it, washed it, and that's where the problem came in, because according to their specifications, they do not want you, and they put it in bold, do not want you to wash it. So I reached out. Now, you've heard this before if you've been here. I did reach out, though, to the representative for the Quilts of Valor that sort of is closest to where we live, and she's not that close. She's about an hour and, what's Trenton? Hour and 15 minutes?
Yeah,
something like that. Away from us, not that far. I sent that out at the first of the week last week. I think, no. Yeah, something like that. And lose track of time. Happens when you get old. And I didn't hear anything back from her. So either she was no longer the representative, although it was listed on their official website that she was, or she was away on holidays, or she doesn't check her email on a regular basis. And the email was one that looks like it's been set up by the Quilts of Valor. It wasn't like her own personal email kind of a thing. So I kind of figured, all right, well, too bad, so sad. They're not getting it. However, I got an email from her on, I think it was on Friday. Now, I sent her a picture of the quilt as well. Now, I asked her, I said, okay, I've made this quilt, but I washed it. I didn't realize that one of the requirements is not to wash it. You only say you want something that is crisp and new. That's why you don't want it washed. And I'm wondering, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Here's my reasons for that, which I've already stated before on here. Can you give me more details about it? She wrote back and says, oh, your quilt is lovely. Where are you? That's it. That's all I got. 2 sentences. Your quilt is lovely. Thank you very much. Where are you? I'm here. Where are you? Didn't even answer my question. Now, I don't know. Does that mean they want it? She didn't say anything about it. So that's where we stand. I'm not begging. I'm not writing her another email. I'm not saying anything. If she sends me another email and says, oh, no, we'll take it. It's lovely. Thanks very much. Here's arrangements for getting it to us or whatever, then fine. I'll deal with that then. But I am not going to send her another email and go, okay, thank you for liking my quilt. You didn't answer my question. And do you want it? Regardless of the fact that I washed it? Inquiring minds want to know. What do you say to that? First of all, I don't think that reflects very well on the organization. No. You know? Like, I know these people are volunteers, but come on, people, if you're going to volunteer to do something like this, then it behooves you, I love that word, behooves you not to do your job properly. And properly would suggest that you answer somebody's question, and if you want the quilt, you say so, and you state exactly how it's supposed to get to you. Like, am I supposed to drive it to Trenton? Or are they coming to pick it up? Or what? What's happening here? I don't know. Am I being too
no, you would
precious
think that
about it?
They would give you instructions.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, we'd love your quilt. We'd love to have your quilt. These are how you get it to us or whatever.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I like your quilt.
Yeah, it was, oh, I love your quilt. Where are you at, bitch? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Anyways, yeah, maybe I'm just being too precious. So be it. Whatever, but I'm not going to beg them for it. What are people saying here? Yeah, the store is Lee Valley. Did I not say Lee Valley? Yeah, I said Lee Valley. Oh, I guess Delmar was asking. Oh, did you say Me Valley? Oh, I see the problem. No, Lee. That's an L. Yeah. Anna says, maybe they don't want the quilt washed so they know it's new. If it's washed, who knows how old it is? Well, you know, Anna, somebody else suggested that to me too as a possibility. I don't believe that. You can tell if a quilt comes in and it's been washed once. You can tell it's new, really. The other thing too is I was talking to somebody out in Ottawa area, and their chapter of Quilts of Valor out there have different specifications. Though actually they have all the same specifications as the national organization, except for one. They want you to wash the quilt.
Actually, I thought they said that if you feel it needs to be washed,
wash it.
Yeah.
And they made a suggestion, I think, to wash it, you know, gently, and to wash it in, if you could, in unscented laundry detergent. And that's not fine. I get that too. So, okay, so the national and then the subsections of it have different rules. What's that all about? I don't know. Very confusing. Very confusing. Hi, Mary.
She don't sound too bright.
Who said that?
New Quilting Live with Janice.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I kind of agree with you.
I don't think that's the kind of person that should be leading this group if they can't.
Yeah, really. I mean, very nice of her to volunteer to be a representative in that area, because I have a feeling it's probably very difficult to get volunteers. But as I said, if you volunteer your time to do something, doesn't it behoove you to, you need to do it right? You know, you don't do a half-assed job. So I'm waiting here to see, shivering with anticipation, to see if I get another email from her. We'll see. We'll see. Because I did answer her. I told her where I was. I told her what the name of my city was. I said, I'm in Oshawa. And she would know where that is, because you can't miss it. Oshawa is off the one of the major highway that runs from one end of Ontario to the other, and so is Trenton. So, in fact, Trenton is a Canadian military base as well. The irony in all of this just keeps compounding itself. Oh, Ron's here. Hi, Ron. Sorry I'm late. Joan just got back from her first embroidery class. I think we have a convert. She loves it. Yay, Ron. Good. Yay, Joan. Diana says, are you sure she isn't my doctor's receptionist? Yeah, there's a possibility. Karen says she's asking where you are to make pickup arrangements. That's why I don't know, Karen. I would assume that's why she would be asking me. But you know, when you assume something, you make an ass of you and me. So I have no idea. It's cryptic. 2 sentences. I love your quilt. Where are you located? Thank you. Glad you like the quilt. I'm in Oshawa. Okay, ball's in her court. If that's what she's leading up to, then yeah. And Stephanie says, so fed up with all these charities lately being so picky. Really turns me off. Yeah, we had that discussion last week. You know, they're just all very precious. Derek says, these types of emails that ignore what you actually said are the reason why my colleagues hear me swearing in my office. You know, Derek, I'm so glad you brought that up, because the same thing happens here. Comments are made to our videos. Fine, love them. But some comments are so cryptic, and you've heard me say this before, because this is one of my pet peeves. In grade 3 or grade 4, when we were taught how to answer a question, a written question. We were always told to put part of the question in the body of your answer. That was the rule. They called that a topic sentence kind of a thing. Where have we gone wrong? Somebody mentioned yesterday that her sister loved the dress.
Wait, what? During So Chatty?
So Chatty.
We never said anything
We never
about a dress.
mentioned dresses. What is that about? Now, did she mean to type something else? Did she mean, because we had talked about shirts. Okay, did she mean to say shirt and just, you know, sometimes your brain goes funny and she said dress? I have no idea. So I wrote an equally cryptic message back. Dress, question mark, question mark, question mark. Monkey see, monkey do. Kind of deal. But we've had some really weird comments, and I have no idea what the person is asking or what they mean. And when that happens, I ignore them. I don't even try to answer it because I have no idea. I can't second guess people. And that happens more than enough times. In fact, if anything, it's more the rule than the exception to it. So I don't know. It's one of my pet peeves. It just pisses me off. Okay. So if you're going to write a comment, remember the rule about a topic sentence, you know, give me context. It makes things so much easier. Stephanie says wrong. Please, that's great. Good thing. Okay. She was probably
Voluntold.
Voluntold. Yes. Barb says, so pathetic. You try to do something nice and end up with a bad taste in your mouth. To hell with donating anything again. Yeah, basically, Barb. Yeah. And you know, I feel guilty that I don't donate more of my quilts to various charities. I mean, I remember I said at the first of this year I was going to do some stuff for Project Life. Well, we're at
Linus.
Oh, yeah. Minus, yeah. Project Life was my other life when I used to scrapbook. Yeah. Project Linus, and I haven't done it yet. Yeah. Gotten busy with other things, but yeah. Sue says the QOV representative in our area spoke to our guild. We were not impressed. Seems she did more harm than good. Oh, do tell, Sue. Why do you say that? I suspect I know, because I this is not my first sort of negative experience with Quilts of Valor. And you know, I hesitate to mention negative experiences with them because one, that hasn't been major or often, and two, they're a good thing, aren't they? You know, honoring service men and service people, I should say men, service personnel, you know, because there's ladies in the armed forces as well, as we well know. That kind of thing. So my negative one was back a few years ago when I first started quilting. I think we were at the quilt show, the National Quilt Show in Ottawa. And of course the Quilts of Valor were set up there, and they had these little kits where you can make a block, and they've pre-cut the fabric you need and have instructions in it. It's a quickie little thing. And I guess the idea at that time, I didn't notice any of those out at the one in Halifax this time, so maybe they've changed that. But the idea was you purchased one of these for $5. You went home, you made it, and you sent it back to them, and they'd collect these up, and when they got enough of them, someone would put them together in a quilt. But they had very specific requirements for the block, which was fine, you know, because I'm thinking to myself at the time, well, they want the quilts to be consistent, right? But there was an attitude. I was looking through their different patterns, and I had some in my hand because I was going. And one lady came up to me and said, "Do you know what these are for?" And I went, "Yeah, it's Quilts of Valor, right? They're for service people to make quilts with them." "Well, you know, they're not free. We expect a donation of $5 for each one of those." I said, "I'm quite aware of that. Also, I'm quite aware of it because I can read, and there's a sign right here that says $5. You know, what did you think I was doing? I was going to take handfuls of these and run off with them? That left a little bad taste in my mouth at that time, but I put it down to, okay, maybe she's somebody new volunteering for this thing and is being just overly efficient. But, you know, you compound a lot of these negative things, and, well, whatever. But we'll see. what happens out of it all. Okay. Sweet Granny's here. Hi, Sweet Granny. And Teresa, the other Teresa's here. No one talks the Queen's English anymore. True. She's dead. It's the King's English now. Faith says, when I was doing long arming professionally, they wanted us to volunteer quilting them. I volunteered and I was bombarded with quilts. I had to finally stop. It made me sad. Yeah, sometimes, you know, you can overwork your volunteers too. And I think anybody who's ever volunteered for any organization has probably run into this to a certain degree. It's not unique to Quilts of Valor. And Teresa says, I made a Quilt of Valor. It took 2.5 years before they gifted it. I did get a note in the mail to say who received it. Yeah, I guess. That's kind of disappointing in some ways, but I guess you can, like, excuse them for it, because I know there's a process where people apply on behalf of somebody to give them a Quilt of Valor, and I think they're very, very particular about who's going to get one. They've got rules for that, and that's all outlined on their site too. I read that, and I can't say I disagree with that. They don't just give it to any Tom, Dick, or Harry that's been in the military. It has to be somebody who has been honorably discharged, not dishonorably discharged, honorably discharged, and saw active duty, like they were over in Afghanistan or wherever, or World War II. Not many of them left. All that kind of stuff. You know, they saw combat, basically. It's not somebody who was here behind a desk. They may have been military, they may have been doing payroll or whatever, supplies, whatever, and that kind of stuff, but they saw active duty. And I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Stephanie says, Faith. Oh, yeah. Stephanie says she was bombarded from her guild with quilts to long arm at charity. Yeah, well, our local, where I bought my long arm, Tracy, she's told us horror stories.
Yeah, she said she's been she was doing charity quilts, and I don't know exactly if she has slowed them down or what, because she was being very generous.
She was donating the batting, she was donating the backing, and she was doing a lot of the quilting herself. Now, usually they sent a few volunteers from the guild down to do it as well, but some of those volunteers needed help with the equipment and everything too. So, you know, it was quite a time commitment, and she is running a business in the whole bit, and she was just getting fed up with them. And knowing that guild, because I used to belong to it, yeah, how do I put it gently? It was full of bitches, and I could see them taking advantage of someone's generosity, because they certainly took advantage of me when I was on the executive and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, Dara's here. Hello, Dara. And yeah, and Judy's here. Hi, Judy. And Elsie. So anyways, that's this update about the Quilts of Valor thing. So what did we do this week? Okay. How many of you have Costco memberships or Sam's Club memberships, I guess, because I know Sam's Club is popular in the States, but Costco is too. We've had one for years.
Yeah, actually, Sam's Club came up here and tried to open up some stores. And actually, I took a membership out when it first came out, but they have since closed, and because Costco is well established in Canada, and Sam's Club just never made it work. No. Canadians are too cheap to have two main memberships.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we are cheap. Okay. But anyways, my sister, okay, there's a potato salad that Costco makes. It's really good. It's kind of a staple here in our house throughout the summer, to the point where, oh, do you want potato salad with that? Again. But when my sister and her husband and my niece were here for dinner a week or two ago, we served that. And apparently her husband, my brother-in-law, he loved it. And he wanted my sister to pick up some. Well, she doesn't have a Costco membership. So she called me and she says, the next time you go to Costco, can you pick us up a tub of that potato salad? She goes, because John really likes it. And I said, sure. And she's, actually, I need it by Friday. This was Wednesday. I said, well, we weren't really planning to, but, you know, yeah, we can go over. It's not that far away from us, for one thing. And there's always something at Costco we need. And then she says, actually, if we didn't mind, she'd like to go with us. I said, sure, fine. So Friday afternoon, she came here. We went up to Costco.
Yeah, and lately Costco's been cracking down on giving your membership to somebody else to use. Well, she came with us, so we just put it through on our membership. So
yeah. And just quickly here, before we carry on with this, I just want to say hi to a couple of people. Scrunchian's here. Cheryl Hogan is here. Carla's here. Russ is here. Designing Jay is here. Okay, I think I caught up with everybody. So, we took my sister over. Well, I think she was a little overwhelmed. It was hard to tell because, well, my sister was catching me up on everything that was going on in her life. So we're going up and down the aisles, but she was like more or less not really concentrating on the aisles. But the thing was, I think she was thinking maybe they should get a membership, but I don't think she will. Because, and this is what scares a lot of people off, they see mass quantities. And they think, okay, I will never use that much stuff. You'd be surprised. Certain things in mass quantities will keep, like toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent, laundry fabric softener, meat, if you have a freezer. My sister doesn't really have a freezer, which she needs to come into this century and get one, because their meat is AAA Alberta beef, the best that Canada has to offer, and it is always, always very good. Sure, maybe you don't need a case of baked beans, but you might need a case of diced tomatoes if you cook a lot. That they don't go bad. You can. There's a lot of things like that. That you get at a really good price. But yes, it's larger quantities of it. But we have an executive membership, which is $120 a year. We're trying it out. We used to have one way back a long time ago, and we only managed to, they give you 2% back of all your purchases, and we made enough to pay for our membership for the next year. But we dropped down to the peasant level, which is, I think, $60 a year, half the price. But you want to know something? We get our money's worth out of it. It's well worth.
Especially now, we have one pretty close to where we live now.
Yeah.
So
we have two actually very close to us, like very close. I mean, for some people who it might be a trip to get there. Yeah. But my sister was comparing it to prices to where she grocery shops. Well, no.
You can't really do that because a lot of times, like if you try and compare the cost of the detergent, for instance, the packages are bigger at Costco and you pay about the same price as what they are in the grocery stores. So.
I mean, you do need to know your prices, but I have never ever bought anything at Costco that I thought was poor quality or bad. You know, like there might be something I bought to try and I didn't like it, but it had nothing to do with Costco. It was, it was just a product that I thought I might want to try and not. My sister laughed because I bought a huge jar of olives. Well, olives don't go bad. And we do go through them. We eat olives. So, fine. Maybe she doesn't. I'm not sure what my sister eats.
No, I know, because every time we said something about food, she goes, oh, we don't eat that.
Yeah, so, But our next door neighbors, they don't have a Costco membership either. And I know they occasionally go there with
well, actually, I occasionally see their daughter bringing back stuff for them. And it's obviously stuff that was purchased at Costco.
Yeah. So, I mean, to each his own, but I've heard so many people say I won't get a membership because I'll never, ever use those large quantities. Go and check it out. You may not use a case of baked beans, but come on, toilet paper. Can you ever have too much toilet paper? If we learned anything from COVID, apparently not. So, yeah. But whatever, it's up to the individual. But as I said, we get our money back from the membership. There are people saying here, things are going by real quick on here.
I think Colleen said she made a top for them.
Where are you reading?
Colleen right there where the blue is.
Okay, that's way down below. I'm trying to get caught up over here. Oh, Southern Hater, Costco. Okay. I am not sure what you mean.
asked how many people had memberships.
Oh, okay, that's it. You might want to curb your tone.
Yeah, when I get frustrated, I yell at him.
He yells at me all. You want to be embarrassed. He has no patience. We're standing at a kiosk to pay, checking out somewhere. The kiosk will ask you 1,000 questions. Do you want to donate to this? Do you want to beg? You don't want to beg. Do you want to do a backflip? Would you like to try the sample? Would you like to drop dead? Like all this stuff. I'm reading the screens. He goes, "Oh, give me that. Give me that."
I get frustrated with them because they're pushing the wrong buttons.
I am not pushing the wrong buttons. I haven't
the other thing he does is if your tap doesn't work, right? So he goes to shove the card in the hole and he's missing the hole. I said, you got to put it in the hole.
They have several holes. I'm looking for the right one. Next time you better be careful. Next time you start that, I'll just stick the card in the hole. All right. Well, that's going to be. Jeez. Anyways, he's very impatient. Where did I leave off here? Costco. Lots of people with Costco, and some with Sam's, some not Sam's. Some have both. We had both for a while when they first came out here, but as Walter told you, we got rid of the Sam's one. Colleen says, I made a top for them, but have never heard what became of it. One local long armor donates time to quilt, 2 per year per quilt. 5 guilds approximately. Ask that. Batting and thread be paid. Yeah, well, kind of you have to do that because, you offer to do something for free and people can take advantage of you. Now, the one thing that Costco, though, has in the States that we can't get here is you got booze. You can get wine and beer there. And
liquor, too.
And liquor, yeah, that's not here.
Nope, not in Ontario.
Because of our laws.
I think in Quebec, the Costco does sell some liquor there.
Yeah, hi, Sherry. Teresa says they just built a new store for London South. I agree the potato salad yummy. I used to think if I got out of there under 100, now it's 250. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you never get out of there for, less than the 3 digits with it. I mean, very rare time that we've ever come in under $100, and usually it's a lot more than that. Because, you go in for just a couple of things, but then you see, oh, they have this. That would be good, wouldn't it? Yes. Derek says, used to have a Costco membership, stopped it because I realized I had stockpiles of toilet paper, etc. when I moved house. I was mostly buying items family requested as there isn't one any further north. Yeah. Hi, Andy. Hi, Julie. Costco's good for fruit if you're cooking it down to make your own jam, for example. They do have fruit at ours, but I didn't notice.
I don't find that it's any better price that much.
Yeah, here in our country, anyways. Yeah, Teresa says Costco's just like any other store. You have to know your prices. My membership always pays for itself, and the rebate on their MasterCard is very nice to get post-Christmas. Yeah, it's true. And, some big ticketed items that Costco sells, like TVs, electronics, appliances, and stuff like that, they're a good price, but their guarantee is really good, too. The warranty, they extend the warranty without you paying extra for it. And you can take almost anything back to a Costco, no questions asked. And we know. We had a television set many, many years ago that we bought for the bedroom, just a small one. And I think we had that TV for about 2 years and it died. It just died.
I think it was more like 6 months.
Oh, was that all we had?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just died. And I said, geez, what are we going to do with that? So we phoned the Costco and the guy said to us, well, just bring it back. And if you have the bill, like we saw the bill. Yeah. But we didn't have the box or anything like that. And they said, no, just bring it back.
And even if you don't have the bill, they can look it up on their system as well. So, that's pretty good. Yeah, Cheryl says returning stuff at Costco is easy too. Yeah, it is. Does the Canadian Costco carry liquor? No, we just mentioned that, Pamela. It does not. And that has to do with our laws in Canada, in province of Ontario, anyways.
Yeah, it may vary in different
Yeah.
provinces.
And Sue loves her Sam's membership. I prefer Sam's to Costco only because Sam's opens at 8 a.m. and Costco at 10 a.m. Only have one day off a week, so my time for errands is valuable. Yeah, well, whatever gets you through. I mean, Sam's Club.
Well, we just found that when the Sam's Club opened up here, they had they had a few different things, but they had a lot of things that were the same. And we just didn't feel it was worthwhile to have two memberships.
Yeah, Marilyn's here. Hi, Marilyn. Costco bulk can be great, Dara says. Deal, I agree. But currently in my small home, there's a paper towel tower in my bedroom. Well, yeah, you kind of need to have space, too, for some of this stuff. Val says, hi, Val. I belong to both, and I have a vacuum food saver, and I just package up the meat in single servings for me. Other foods I buy, I share with my kids that don't keep. Yeah, well, that's what we have been known to buy a huge slab of meat,
Beef tenderloin.
Beef tenderloin. And Walter cuts it up into steaks, and we do the same thing. He vacuum seals them all and puts them in their freezer. And I mean, you're getting it at a fairly good price. And they put that on sale at times, too, so an even better price than in the regular grocery store. And as I said, their meat here in where we live is AAA Alberta beef, which is the best in Canada. So, yeah. Oh, some states, Designing Jay says you can get booze, but not in the mall, I guess, not in Maryland. So I guess it's a by state. Lots of booze in our local Costco, Derek says, but then again, we can buy booze in most supermarkets and small stores. There would be a revolt if we had to have separate beer or liquor store. Well, and don't come here, because that's what we have. Elsie purchased $150 worth of groceries at BJ's wholesale, but only paid $6 because of MasterCard rebates. Their gas prices are quite reduced. It's worth keeping the membership of $99 a year. Okay, I don't know what BJ's is. We don't have a BJ's here in Canada, or at least in Ontario. I've never heard of them at all. Sounds like very similar to Costco. BJ's, yeah, I know. Yeah, never mind. Aaron says, I get my hearing aids there. They are better than the ones I got from audiologist. Oh, okay. Okay. Barb says Costco sells liquor in Alberta. She just looked it up. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because in Alberta, they are more like on an American system for selling. Like they have private liquor stores.
Teresa says their Costco has beer and wine.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, well, some of our grocery stores have beer and wine in them. The Costco up here doesn't have beer or wine.
Maybe that's coming.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's coming. Yeah, that'd be okay. I mean, anytime we've been in the States, they've always had like a fairly good selection at a not too bad a price. Of course, mind you, I wonder how that works with Costco here, though, in Ontario, because the LCBO controls the price of the booze.
Yeah, the price of the booze would be probably the same as...
because
there probably wouldn't be any discount at Costco here. Because some grocery stores carry wine and some carry beer, but then lately I've been hearing that a lot of the grocery stores have stopped carrying liquor or wine. They can't sell liquor because it isn't profitable for them.
No.
And there's too much theft.
Yeah. So, BJ's is like a Costco or Sam's. Okay. And Cheryl says, I do Costco or Sam's because Costco treats their employees better. Don't support Walmart businesses. Yeah, that's right. Sam's is a Walmart business. Or owned by Walmart. Yeah, true. So I don't really get into the politics of retail, except for like something like Chick-fil-A that doesn't support the LGBT community, and they're trying to get their foothold in Ontario, and the LGBT community here in Ontario is up in arms about them. You don't want to piss off the gays. Okay. Thank you, Diane. Derek says, I watch a channel where an Alaskan shows her shopping at Costco. Interesting how the range of goods varies, but the cost of food, etc., is insane because of the need to ship things up there. Yeah, I guess that's all businesses are affected by that. And Southern Hater, Maryland 711. My good friend is trying a new type of hearing aid that has a sensor on your wrist and it works off bone vibration. She says it's retraining her brain and really works. Okay, that's interesting to know. Okay, let's move away from Costco, shall we? Let's see. I want to know, and I don't know if the person is here, did one of you happen to buy a new sewing machine from my local quilt store called Ultimate Sewing? The reason I ask that is yesterday they had a garage sale sort of a thing, end of the bolt fabrics. Like if you bought the entire bolt, you got 25% off whatever's left. So Walter and I scoured the shelves looking for ones that had probably a meter and a half left on them. And we did find quite a few because $350 later, I came home with like more fabric that I didn't need. Of course, Walter kept picking them off the shelf. Here. Anyway, Shirley, the owner, was in there and cutting the fabric, and she comes over to me and she has these 4 packages of strips, pre-cuts, 2.5-inch strips. And she says, which one do you like? And I picked one. I said, that one. She's yours. And I guess it was a thank you gift because somebody came to her store and I think they bought a fairly substantial sewing machine from her, and they had told her the reason they came there was because of my YouTube channel. So I got a freebie. That was unexpected. So I'm just wondering if anybody on here will owe up to that. If you're somebody that's on here today, because, well, thank you so much. I got a freebie gift. Much appreciated. Yeah. But anyways, I did buy some fabrics and stuff, and I'll show you what I bought, but not today. I'm going to show that on Idiot Quilter this week. We're still waiting for the car insurance to come through. It says now over 4 weeks.
Pretty much.
But Walter's loving his new car, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
However, he had to take it over to someplace and get what you get put on it?
I got tag tracking put on it. It's a service that's in Ontario and Quebec that implants nano tags into your car so that if it gets stolen, it can be tracked and recovered.
But it's also being demanded by the insurance companies now out here on certain models of cars, the ones that are high theft, and Walters is one that falls in that category. And they give you what? They give you $150?
This some of them will pay for the whole thing, and others will give you a rebate. And I got the rebate of $150 on it.
So how much was it total to put it in?
Well, including tax, it was $280.
Okay, so you got about half of it back.
Yeah. Regularly, it's $399 plus tax to put in. So
bargain. Yeah, but he's not done with the security system yet, because
I've decided to get an aftermarket immobilizer put in as well, because I don't want them tracking my stolen car. I want to keep them from stealing it in the first place. So I'm having that put in.
Yeah, on Monday. So, isn't this a sad statement about our state of affairs in our world these days, that everything needs to be nailed down because they're stealing it left and right? I mean, they steal your Amazon packages off your porch. They steal your car out of your driveway.
I should have just bought an old crap box.
Yeah, probably. They do that. We've got the scammers on the phone lines, feeding off of everybody for a variety of all kinds of things that they're doing in the whole bit. And I don't like to say this, but since we have allowed a lot of other people into our country willy-nilly who claim refugee status, a lot of this has gone up. Just saying, got to be careful. Could sound a little racist or prejudiced or, kind of a thing there when you say it, but I'm just, every time you watch the news about another carjacking, you know what I'm saying, right? So, and of course, now we've got the big problem with the refugees coming into Toronto. Toronto doesn't have any space for them, nor money to help support them. But our prime minister has lots of money to give to the Ukraine for their war there. And yet we have people starving on the streets, are homeless in our own country. A lot of them. And, shouldn't our tax dollars be going towards our own people as well? But he decided, no, he wasn't going to give Toronto any money or anybody else for this. He just opened the doors wide open, said, come on, no problem if you claim refugee status. And basically, from what I gathered, all you have to do is go, hi, I'm a refugee. Okay, come on in with this. Yeah, we're lucky. Well, we live in a great country, North America, period. Great place to live for the most part and everything like that. I feel really horrible about those people and what they're going through, the ones that are legit. But there seems to be an awful lot of scammers in that line too. And we're allowing it to happen, So, and these are not people coming from war-torn countries necessarily. Okay, they're coming from parts of the world, and when I say parts of the world, I mean they're coming from Africa, and
or
India,
Middle Eastern areas,
and everything like that. Yeah, not nice places to live. I grant you that. From what we know, and where do we get most of our information from? The media, and we know.
Well, we're just basing it on the ones that they've caught stealing and what nationality they seem to be.
Yeah, but in this politically correct climate that we've all are living in right now, and the whole bit, we have to be careful about that. On the news, when there's a violent crime committed, they never identify anymore the ethnic background of the individual who perpetrated the crime, because that's considered profiling. And cops have been blamed for that a lot. So, yeah. But then you see footage of, it's very dangerous territory to discuss this.
Yeah, anyways.
Here. So anyways, just making an observation, put it that way, that I think the bottom line is our government should be more concerned with the people we have in our country right now who need help. Look after the people at home first, and then we can be more charitable when we have our own backyard cleaned up, kind of a thing. Anyways, enough about that. I'm just looking at what people are saying. Oh, Sue says, Walter, I'm sorry to ask this again, but what pattern brand do you use for your shirts? You told me before. I wrote it in my notebook on my sidewalk.
Okay, the one that I've been using for these shirts is called the Gosling. You can Google it. It's you can buy it at various places. It's usually a PDF pattern. There's a magazine called So Def, and it was published in that magazine apparently. But you can find the pattern somewhere on the internet, and it's called the Gosling, Gosling, and it's fairly prevalent. You can find it. It's probably about $10 or $15 to buy it.
Oh, she meant side table, not sidewalk. I was going to say, that's why you lost it. It rained. But Mary says, what kind of car did you get?
I got a Honda CR-V hybrid.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice.
It's really good gas mileage.
Yes, and they're ripping off the catalytic converters as well, Teresa says.
Yeah, they are. And Teresa, you're a little bit low as far as how much they're worth, because maybe an aftermarket one or a stolen one might be $700, but they can range anywhere from, depending on what car it is, anywhere from $1,000 to up to $5,000 to put back on.
Yeah. So yeah, and it says stress and expense of a new car these days is terrible. It is, and apparently theft is really bad in Missouri, USA too. Well, I think it's bad everywhere across North America. Here in Ontario, they steal cars like his. In Alberta, they steal trucks. Maybe that's because that's pretty much the vehicle of choice out in Alberta, whatever. And Derek says, I have to change my car in September. Have decided to really downsize as I never have passengers and the cost of a car is ridiculous these days. Would buy an electric car if they were more affordable. Yeah. Walter was talking about that earlier today. What you heard about Volkswagen?
Well, I heard that Volkswagen in Germany has decided to cut back on the amount of electric cars they're producing because their sales are not up to what they expect them to be. And I guess there's a controversy too, but in some countries, electric power is more expensive than gasoline. So it's not a big incentive to buy an electric car if it's going to cost you more to run than if you bought a car that uses gasoline.
So Scrunchian says, with regards to the topic of refugees, let's stick to the facts, please. What are the facts, Scrunchians? Where do you get the facts? We don't have any facts. We can't trust the media. We can't trust our government. We can't trust anybody to give us the facts because nobody knows what the facts are. I would welcome the facts. But where do you get facts? Let's think about that a little bit, okay? My hubs has had his catalytic converter stolen 3 times and trailer twice. Good God. What color's your car, Walter?
Blue. Why, do you want to steal it?
Yeah. Would you like the license plate number 2 and the address? Teresa says, my catalytic converter cost me $700, but it's an older car, and I did go to Muffler Man, not Honda. Yeah, well, you got maybe more of a deal on that as well. And
I had, this was quite a few years ago, I had a catalytic converter go on. It was a Pontiac Vibe, which is actually a Toyota Matrix, and I had to have the whole exhaust pipe with the catalytic converter replaced, and that was $2,000. And we're talking well over 10 years ago. So,
yes, Scrunchians, that was you being told. But if you know where I can get the facts, and they're the absolute god-awful truth, please direct me to that, because I'd be more than happy to read it. Dara says, I'm told some of the carjackers can't drive stick shift. That's my car's anti-theft system. I heard that on something too.
Yeah, actually, that is true. Stick shift is actually one of the ones, and old style, like what you have, the key in the ignition type thing. If you have a push button like mine, then they're up for theft. So.
And Teresa says, I had sticker shock for gas last weekend. Rented a van to move a sofa. A whole 80 kilometers round trip. Topped up the gas to return it, and it was $25.
Well, that's not bad.
I was going to say, that's not bad. I mean, vans suck up the gas. But, yeah.
What kind of car do you drive that you think $25 is expensive?
Yeah, that doesn't sound... I mean, it's horrible, but I mean, it doesn't sound horrible, if you get what I mean. My car's standard, so I guess I'm safe. Yep. Yeah, well, younger people can't drive standards usually anyways, you know. I mean, our generation, when we probably were learning how to drive, we probably learned on a standard.
My first couple of cars were standard, so.
Yeah, I learned on a standard, but I wouldn't want to drive one now, though, because I haven't driven a standard in 1,000 years.
One, but I mean, I don't know if there's any standards still available now in this country.
Unless it's a sports car or something, or like
maybe a sports car, yeah.
Like
you'd have to buy a used car.
Teresa says she drives an old Honda CRV. Yeah, but you want to know something? The Hondas last, because my Honda Civic is a 2008 14-year-old car, 15-year-old car now, and with the exception that there's a side mirror broken on it, it could probably use some new rims. You know, it's a good car. It's been a good car. I'll say that for it. Now watch. Tomorrow it'll be like up on blocks. Philip says, I had a Toyota hybrid Camry for 8 years. Love them. Have now bought an MG electric car. Absolutely love it. We have solar to help with the cost. So much cheaper. Yeah, that sounds good. And Derek has never driven anything but a manual. Tried my father's automatic, and I almost had nervous breakdowns. Kept trying to change the gears. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah, well, Derek, you're over in the UK, I think, and pretty much everybody drives standard, whereas here in North America, everybody drives automatics.
Teresa says you haven't lived until you've driven an old farm truck with a bad clutch. Yeah, I'd rather not. Thank you. When I designing, Jay says, when I bought my Subaru in 2015, standard wasn't available. Yeah, true. And Derek says, don't get me started on electronic yeah, Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's the way the world is, right? What can we do about it? So, let's do this. I didn't get to last week, and I really want to get to this week. I want to get to your comments so we can comment about your comments. So I've got a whole slew here on different topics, so we'll go through them relatively quickly. There were some comments made about the doctors after I said about going to the doctor, getting, a shot in this arm, a shot in this arm, 12 gallons of blood taken out of me, and being told that I need a colonoscopy and all that good stuff. And I think I may be going now. Right now, it's feeling good. But last night, my arm was killing me again to the point where I actually took a painkiller. I try not to, but I've got a requisition for x-rays and for an ultrasound. So maybe next week I'm going to have to act upon it. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're going to tell me anyways, Does it hurt when you do this? Yes, don't do that. Okay, thank you, doctor. So, but Donna wrote, the doctor should have given you a shot in your arm. Well, they did, 2 of them, but I don't think those are the ones she's referring to. Years ago, working as a nurse's aide, a resident let all her weight go on my shoulder when another worker and I were walking her. I had pain for years. I went and had a shot in it, and it hasn't hurt since. Yeah, I only go to doctor's place. You won't get meds unless you go for checkups. Yeah, the shot in the arm thing, they're really good at giving, what's those shots called? Cortisone, and I've heard bad things about cortisone.
I've heard that it sometimes helps some people, and others it doesn't.
Yeah, well, my dad used to have cortisone shots, and my brother did too, and that didn't work.
I think it probably would be a good idea to diagnose what the problem is first.
Yeah, and they'll probably go, yeah, you're old.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're wearing out. Thank you. Yeah. About my grandmother's quilt comment, this was In My Quietude is the name of the person. My grandmother, her mother, and my great aunts made quilt tops, turned the edges under, and called them coverlets. No backing and no filler. They used them all year as bedspread. My mother called them grandma coverlets. Nothing like coverlets sold today, so these were made from pre-1900 to probably early 40s. Okay. But in terms of my grandmother's quilt, it's definitely not one of those because it's got either very light batting of some sort, or I still haven't determined what's inside it. And I really don't want to open up a seam and look, because if I was a really good hand stitcher, I could do that with ease and sew it back up and no one would know the difference. But guess what? I'm not. Another one put, a lot of quilting patterns were printed in the newspaper and most people made their own template. This is why my mother got her patterns. This is the way my mother got her patterns and made her templates. Yeah, I've heard about that. And my grandmother's template, I don't know if it was from a picture she saw of this design or she made it up out of her head or what. But she did do her own template with it, as I told you. Another says, my grandmother made me a quilt in 1977-ish and appears to have no batting. I too am curious as to why. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe batting back in that time, maybe it wasn't as readily as available. I know some people put flannel sheets inside of them or old wool blankets or something like that. So I don't know. I'm curious. And let's just catch up. Mary had cortisone shots for arthritis, but they quit working after a while. And Teresa says the only thing worse than a doctor who orders tests is one who brushes everything off and tells you aren't a spring chicken anymore. Cortisone is my friend. My arthritic shoulder makes me cry. Well, if it's working for you, Teresa, then great. All for that, because who likes pain, right? And Mary says, oh, that's too designing. Okay. Anyways, about car security, Inez wrote, you should get a savage dog and put it in the yard. Your car or nothing else will disappear. Yeah, that's true. But that reminded me of something I think we told you about some time ago, and we've had an update a few weeks ago about it. Walter's niece, Karen, has a big, what kind of dog is
Doberman.
Doberman. Freddie the Doberman. Very gentle dog, afraid of its own shadow, kind of a thing. She took it out for a walk one day in her neighborhood. 3 pit bulls came out, attacked it. not on.
And pit bulls are illegal in Ontario,
Yeah.
supposedly.
And the owners did not call them off, and they did not have them on leashes or anything like that. Our niece had to put herself bodily between those Dobermans or those
Pit bulls?
that's it. That's the word I'm looking for, sounds like. And her dog and some neighbors came out as well. There was blood, guts, and poor Freddie. He got really chewed up. There was a nice man there who said to Karen, I will take you right down to the vet right now. We'll put the dog in the car and away we go. And Karen said to him, well, I don't want to get blood all over your car. He says, I'm not worried about that. He was really nice. Long story short, she's suing these people now. She tried to be reasonable with them. They said they couldn't afford to pay for the vet bills all at once. She put them on timed payments and stuff like that. She did everything she possibly could to, be nice to them. And of course, you know what the end result was. They're deadbeats. They didn't come back with anything. So now she's got it in the hands of the lawyer. And, yeah, which is going to make their expenses even more because basically it's cut and dry. There were witnesses, the whole bit to it. They didn't have the dogs on a leash. They're illegal to have them in our area, the whole bit. And that means that they will also have to pay for lawyer fees as well. But the thing is, you can't get blood from a stone. But our niece knows this, but she's doing it. It's more the principle of the thing so that people like that don't have those kind of dogs and unleash them onto other unsuspecting people and their animals and things like that, So
yeah, our pit bulls are banned, but for some reason, our authorities are not.
They're not checking up on it.
Not checking up on it.
And if people complain, in fact, she complained to the city, and the city basically said, well, they can't do anything about it because they can't lay charges against them unless she had been hurt. Unless the dogs had attacked a human, not another animal, they can't do anything about it. That sounds like a cop-out to me.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever.
They don't want to enforce it.
Yeah.
So great deal. Your breed is banned, but then nobody's enforcing it.
Yeah. And I'm just looking back here. Anna says thin batting because they would quilt by hand, easier to get needles through the layers. Never done that, but that makes sense. And in March, Barb had an ultrasound on her shoulder. I've got a tear in my rotator cuff, and I still have problems with it. Well, you want to know something? I think that's what I have too, because that's basically where the pain is. So, and I have heard there's not a heck of a lot they can do unless it's really, really severe, and then they can operate. And no. Then put me on painkillers.
Well, just chop it off.
I just start
it's only
over.
a flesh wound.
So I thought I can grow another one, can't I? They regenerate, don't they? Oh. And Karen says court could also remove the dogs from their care. Well, I think actually what the courts could order is have the dogs destroyed, which part of me thinks that's really horrible. Like it's an animal. Now, my belief has always been an animal is a reflection of the treatment it gets from its owners. And if a dog is vicious, if an animal is vicious and attacks, it's because it's been trained to do that and taught to do that. But apparently, according to the literature, these dogs actually have something in their gene pool that makes them want to attack. And as soon as if they come across another animal that shows any fear or they think is threatening them, they go into attack mode, and that's the end of it. So I don't know how absolutely true that is. I mean, I'd hate to see an animal put down because of this, but if these animals
my mom's next door neighbors had pit bulls, and they said, oh, they were lovely dogs, they wouldn't hurt a flea. And they were letting them run outside, and I was over at mom's trying to get to do some yard work, and these two pit bulls came over to me, and they were snarling at me and everything else, and I was very uptight.
I guess you're not a flea. They wouldn't hurt a flea.
No.
Yeah, so I have to also always question people who own dogs like that. Those kind of dogs that everybody associates with being, attack dogs and things like that. Why would you want to own a pet that has that kind of temperament? What does that say about the owners? Really? I don't know. But no, we're not going to get a savage dog to put in the yard because then it'll attack all kinds of things, and who knows whatever's going on. How about an attack kitty?
Yeah, we had one of
We
those.
had one of those. Cleo. Yeah. She was sweet most of the time, but when she wasn't, ooh, she wasn't. Mind you, she didn't attack anybody else except us. Still have the scars to prove for that. So, comments about the refugee problem. Somebody by the name of Ozzy My Man wrote, "Boy, do I hear you about the government giving all of the money away that should be going to our own country's people. The U.S. is just as bad, and it angers me. We have so many people on the street, and even our veterans, it just isn't right. I wish there was something as common people could do about it. Thank you for another terrific video." Okay. Yeah, true. Our governments have let us down. They've been letting us down for years, but I think in the last decade, it's worse than it's ever been before. Then there's the comments about our latest So Chatty about using your embroidery machine for more than just monogramming your towels or your baby onesies. And M. Wilson wrote, "Thank you both for this video. I agree with all your embroidery advice. My Janome 500E is excellent, and I never experienced problems when using Floriani threads. I also like files from the companies you mentioned. Great advice also regarding checking the range of travel for your hoop. So easy to move the machine when cleaning, and even a ½ inch out can cause problems. I clean my machine thoroughly after every project and oil it lightly when required." And that just reinforces what we were already saying about taking care of your investment. And you're spending $3,000 on a machine, you know, it behooves you. I used it again. See how I slipped that in? It behooves you not to maintain it and to be careful with it. Somebody else wrote, "Wow, I'm so impressed by all the embroidery projects you have shown. I had no idea an embroidery machine was so versatile. I really enjoyed the video." Yeah, and a lot of people don't. That's what we said in the video. People think it's only good for, oh, I want to put, you know, somebody's name on their shirt pocket or a cute Bugs Bunny or something graphic on it. They do a heck of a lot more than that. In fact, I seldom ever do just plain ordinary, like, embroidery. I'm always making something. I just bought 2 new patterns for Christmas today. They were on sale.
Did you finish that skirt from last week?
No, I didn't. I have a feeling that skirt may never get finished. Maybe I should send it out to Joan.
Maybe you should
and
give
Ron.
it to me. I'll do some embroidery.
Well, fine. No problem. You can have the whole kit and caboodle. I think I got all the threads that go with it too, sitting in the box. It's all in the kit. Another one wrote, this is from Teresa, who's on here. Teresa de Jong. "I had my Janome 15,000 for 2 years plus. After the initial wow, look what I made, I found I didn't use it. I realized that my creative soul needs to make things hands-on. Watching the machine stitch out just didn't float my boat. I don't regret having it, but I sold it. I don't have the real estate to leave it out on the table." Well, that was another point. You do really have to leave your embroidery machine someplace where you're not packing up, putting it away, and putting it back on a table, because they are heavy and they are fairly delicate. So, you know, you want to have room to leave it in a spot all the time. But yeah, it's true. Watching an embroidery machine is fascinating for the first few times you use it, but after that, you get a little bored. And the designs do take a long time to, you know, do out and that kind of thing. Although I still love doing it. I really do. Because the end result's worth it. Somebody called Amrita Divya 54. So, wow, thank you so much for showing us how the embroidery machine operates. I have been to some of the sewing quilting shows near me in California where they're selling quilting and embroidery machines, but walking around I never seem to come across anyone who was demonstrating how they work. I would love it if you would demonstrate your long arm sometimes, or maybe you've already done this and I should just check out your channel. To the second part of what she has said, yes, I have shown the long arm, and I'm going to do more. The only reason I don't do that much to show you with the long arm is because, one, there's lots of people who have a lot more expertise than I do using long arm machines, and they've got videos galore on YouTube. So if I do another video, it's probably going to show you why you shouldn't do this kind of a thing, you know. That's why I do call myself the idiot quilter. But to the first point that was made here, walking around at shows and that, never really seeing somebody using an embroidery machine, this is very true. You go to a show, they have the machines all up there, and you'll see it. It's sitting there stationary, and they've got partial embroidery design all sewn out. But they're really not running it and having somebody sitting there and running it and working on it so you can look over their shoulder. Now, you can ask them, but sometimes you're a little intimidated to ask to see it because you may not be right there in the market to buy one that day. You're curious, but you don't want to put up the money and you're afraid the salesperson's going to go over and try to talk you into something. It's like walking into a car showroom kind of a thing. You're just looking, but they don't take just looking for an answer. So I can see that. I really think these companies are doing a disservice to their business by not having somebody at those shows giving a demo and showing people, oh yes, it does this pretty design, but you can also do this and show other things. I think they would sell more embroidery machines if they showed the versatility of them. Barb Olson, who is here, wrote, "Hi Stephen, Elsie's quilt is beautiful and the fact that her mom contributed her love and talent makes it so special. So unfortunate that you can't donate your quilt to QOV. Maybe you could donate it to Royal Canadian Legion in your area for them to display." Okay, at first glance, that's not a bad suggestion, Barb. But here's the thing. Our local Legion is a drinking hole. And I have a feeling that most Legions are. It's a social club, kind of a thing for vets and people like that. And that's fine. I have nothing against that. So I really don't know if they necessarily would want to display it, put a quilt like that on display. Also, you want it to be looked after as well. And, somebody has one too many drinks and decides to get a little rowdy and beer goes all over the quilt. I don't know. Somebody else suggested that I could just take it and donate to somebody in the service or was in the service. The thing is, and I think I already addressed this one, the whole Quilts of Valor thing is a whole procedure. It's a very special honor, and they make it very special. They have a ceremony in the whole bit. Just to give somebody, unless there was somebody that was a personal family friend that you knew, just to give it to somebody, to a stranger or something like that without the ceremony, I don't think it means as much. It's just a blanket. And I never like to use the word blanket when I'm talking about quilts, but you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. Somebody by the name of Sinpope1 wrote, "Interesting the different QOV requirements. Here in the United States, I was curious about the washing thing, and so here's what they say about washing. Wash your quilt once completed. Wash your quilt once it's completed so it is soft and so that any potential fabric dye bleeding issues are resolved. Use cold water, mild detergent, and unscented products." Yeah, that's the way I felt about it. Wash it to get loose threads, dust. You've been working with this fabric. It's probably been dragging a little bit on the floor as you've been sewing it and things like that. It just makes sense to me to wash it. And obviously it makes sense to the Quilts of Valor in the States as well. And then comments about charities. This comes from Dara Rowland. And many years ago as a student, I temped it at United Way for a week.
Temporary employment.
Okay. But it's spelt like this. I'm trying to get my mouth around TEMP''D. Anyways, I get it. What an eye-opener. Huge office, no one doing much work as I typed my way through the workday. They had 2-hour break for cake almost every day. Ooh, cake. And spent rest of the days munching donuts and chatting to each other. I've never encountered anything like it. I never donated to the United Way, and I've told a lot of other people think twice too. Yeah, that just goes back to what I was saying about where is all that money going really? Donuts. I like donuts. And we got corrected by Heidi. Is Heidi on here today? I didn't see Heidi on here. No. We mentioned the fact that Canadian Tire, one of our major department stores here in Canada, has a Jumpstart program where they basically give money to these organizations to buy equipment for youth. So, keeps the cost down so they can play sports. But we also had heard or found out, I don't know which.
Oh, I thought I read it in the fine print, but I can't. I'd have to go back and read it again.
That basically, Canadian Tire gives you money, but they basically give you credit. You have to buy the equipment from them. And I thought that was kind of defeatist. But Heidi said Canadian Tire does not mandate that the Jumpstart equipment be purchased from them. We have had students at our judo club supported by that program, and Canadian Tire does not sell the, I'm not sure how you say it, it's GI uniforms. So the GIs were purchased from our club at cost, and Heidi's very involved with her local judo club, so she would know about that. So that's an interesting thing there, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Then, you know, that if they're not holding people down to buy their products. So we stand corrected on that issue. But Walter will do some research and he'll find this out, because Walter never likes to be told that he's wrong. No. So what's everybody saying here? Let's see, backing up. Yeah, irate overload there. Teresa says they're trying to reverse the pity ban here. I've got a laser and wouldn't walk without it. I hate to use it, but would. Oh, okay, pity ban. I mean pitbull ban, and they're trying to reverse it. That's interesting. And Derek says that poor breed was deliberately bred for their aggressive traits. Humans have a lot to answer for. Yeah, and I think over the breeding they've increased that probably in them. Mary says, hi Mary, could the dogs be trained to dog fight? Isn't that illegal? Are you talking about dog fighting as in people betting on it? I do believe that here in Canada.
That's illegal to do.
Yeah, and I think so in most of North America. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's really what you mean, Mary. Val says the next time they loose, it could be a child. Yeah, exactly. Those dogs need to be put down, just my opinion. I agree with you, Val. Once, and I think Karen said...
I think, I mean, the dogs attacked the other dog, but the story would have changed completely if it attacked a child.
Yeah. But as I said, the city wouldn't do anything about it because it hadn't attacked a human. Well, you know.
So do we have to wait for a human to be attacked?
Well, yeah, basically. Yeah, and that's not good. That's a little late, isn't it? Yeah. Russ says Riley is part pit. She's a total sweetheart. We've seen pictures of Riley. Riley looks like Riley wouldn't hurt a caterpillar or anything. But she goes from 0 to 200 when she meets other doggos. So meeting other dogs on leash is hard, but she's great at doggy daycare. Yeah, but she's not a pure pit bull, is she? So, you know. And again, Russ, I don't imagine you are saying to Riley, eat it, get it, bite it. Okay? So, you know, I think a lot of it has to do with the way they're handled as well. I don't know. I don't own a pit bull. I have no desire to. I really don't want to own a dog. I like dogs, but, you know, cats are... I like cats better. Obviously. Dara says aggressive dog stories are why some of us fear dogs. Yeah. Oh, Patty says, what's over Walter's left shoulder? I'm curious. We've already shown that, Patty.
Earlier this video.
Yeah. So you'll have to check in for the refund. It
was near the beginning of the video.
It's just some 3D things on a little
3D things on rotating stands.
Yeah. Mary says, what brand of embroidery machine do you have? Well, obviously, Mary, you did not watch So Chatty. So you'll need to tune into that to find out. It's only 550E. I prefer to wash my quilts before gifting, and then I look them over for loose threads, if there's anything I need to fix. Yeah, exactly. Because, you know,
it's just a package.
Oh, it's from my Amazon thing. You know, sometimes a seam will open. Ask me how I know. And so, you know, I don't want to gift a quilt to somebody and they wash it and it falls apart, you know, or a seam opens up. That's not good. So, yeah, washing doesn't just get rid of loose threads and smell. It also, you know, checks your sewing as well. Southern says dogfighting is illegal in Alabama, but it still happens a lot. Oh, yeah. They have underground clubs and things like that all over the world and everything, but it is illegal. Yeah. Doesn't make it acceptable. Far from it. Francis says GI is pronounced like he. Oh. Okay. I guess
I wouldn't know that.
I wouldn't have known that. I have no idea. Okay. And Mary says, for example. For example, what, Mary? Maybe does that go with could dogs be trained to dogfight? For example. Okay, maybe that's the completion of the sentence. Guess this is where you see sometimes it gets a little confusing context. But anyways, so yeah, Patty says, I'll go look. They look cool. I'm retired. I'm a retired animal control officer, animal cruelty investigator. Don't get me started on pet ownership and the liability created by bad owners. Yep, I can imagine. Anyways, on that note, it's our time. It's time to go. I've got an Amazon package outside of my doorstep.
That's my Amazon bag.
But I have one coming today too.
Okay.
So how do you know it's yours?
I don't know.
You just assumed.
Yeah.
Oh well, we'll see, won't we? Stay tuned. Okay, everybody. Don't forget, if you're interested, pop-up sew day this coming Saturday, 8 a.m. Come anytime you want, though. Links in the show notes. And Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, our weekly gathering. All are welcome to that, starting at 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. And come and go as you please there, too. So, have a great week, everybody.
Yeah, have a good week.
We'll